Okay, thank you. Okay, Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Welcome to our forum on the New Year's Eve 2021. Okay, today's forum is organized by Young Mind Malaysia. My name is Dr. Rusnadia Suaimbun. I am a psychiatrist and a medical lecturer in a public university in Malaysia. So it is my pleasure tonight to be the moderator. So actually I'm very nervous and at the same time excited because with us today, there are two great speakers. Okay, let me introduce them. Okay, the first speaker is Dr. Eka Karyanti Zain. She's a psychiatrist from our neighboring country, Indonesia. So a bit about her background, which I took from her lengthy CV. Okay, she obtained her medical degree from Universitas Hasanuddin Makassar, Indonesia in 2006. And then she worked as a psychiatrist in Universitas Hasanuddin from 2016 until now. So in Indonesia, she is actively involved with research in mental health and also NGOs. Okay, so I've never met Dr. Eka in person before, but I heard that she did a lot of her amazing works. Okay, and then our second speaker for today is Dr. Nurul Shuhaida Abdul Razak, our very own young and talented psychiatrist. Okay, a bit about her CVs. She obtained her MBBS from IAUM in 2008, and then later she obtained her doctor in psychiatry from National University of Malaysia in 2018. Currently, she is actively promoting and educating public on mental health by organizing talks and programs in the country. And she also involved with NGOs organizing events in promoting mental health. She is the Vice President of Scopus and Young Minds Malaysia. Currently, she is working with Ministry of Health as a psychiatrist in Shah Alam Hospital. Okay, actually, I've known Dr. Shuhaida for about 10 years already. We used to work in the same hospital before. Is that right, Dr. Shu?
Yes, yes, we have done quite a long time together, Dr. Rosnadia.
Yeah. For the better or worse, right? Okay.
Yes, for the better or worse.
Okay. Okay. Back to our topic for today. Mental health for all, a way ahead. Okay. As we all know that this year 2020 took us by surprise. It has been an overwhelming and stressful year for most. Okay. The start of pandemic has actually triggered awareness about the importance of mental health involving major stakeholders such as scientists, organizations, and even the public itself. The authorities adopt multiple strategies in providing mental health care to the people, and yet at the same time, we are still facing a global crisis in providing mental health supports in the healthcare system to the people. A barrier to the mental health care access is prevalent all over the world, especially in our region. Making sure that individuals have access to mental health care can improve lives and communities. So indeed, coming 2021 is a very tough year ahead of us, which is only tomorrow. Okay, we anticipate a lot of challenges in the economy, social, politics sectors, and of course, in the healthcare system. Okay, thus, back to our forum today. It will be conducted in 3 rounds. So each panelist will take turn to answer the questions. So if later, if we got any questions from our viewers, I will direct the respective question to our panelists. Okay, so let's just get right into with our first question. Okay, so Dr. Eka, hi. Okay, we are all aware about mental health, but many are skeptical about mental health. The notation about mental health often brings different meaning to different people. So can you please explain to us what is mental health and why is it important to us? Okay, to you, Dr. Eka.
Thank you, Dr. Rosnadia. Hello, everyone. I am Eka Harantizain. I'm a psychiatrist in Indonesia. And let me first share my slides. The first questions from Dr. Rostiana is about what is mental health, because everyone has the different perspectives. And to define mental health, everyone has her own or his own perspectives. So this is my first slide about what is actually mental health. And we have an organization, World Health Organization, that of course with many perspectives from us, we can see one definition that cover every continent in the world from the World Health Organization. So from that WHO, mental health is a state of well-being in which an individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. In a simple way, mental health is something to ourselves that has many aspects of the thoughts, our feeling, and also our behavior. And these three kind of aspect, our thought, feeling, and behavior, then can make the well-being in the way we behave, the way we feel, and the way we think, in which by that abilities, we know ourselves, and then by that kind of function in our brain, actually, we can cope with the normal stresses in our life, even though this, the stress that already maybe bigger than our normally stress, like right now situation in 2020 where coronavirus then impact us, and we suddenly realizes and awakes that what happened with me, what happened with my thought, what happened with my feeling, and why do I behave like this. It awakes us and finally makes us aware that the mental health is there. So it's something that very real for us. And then by this thought and our feeling and our behavior, how do we maintain that kind of healthiness so we can work productively and able to make a contribution to our community? Because by function normally as a human, that is also a measurement of our mental health. So mental health is something real, and it is important in our well-being. Yeah, so that's what I can explain, Dr. Rosdiana. So I hope we can get something that define the mental health.
So, okay, thank you, Dr. Eka, for a very clear information about what is mental health. Okay, now I'll move on to our second panelist, Dr. Shuhaida. Okay, so 2020 already has come to an end. So in just a few hours, we'll be in year 2021 already. So people say that year 2020 is like a computer infected with a virus, and we have to reformat and reinstall it back. So amidst in the misery in 2020, can you tell us what promises that 2021 might bring to us with regards to the mental health, about the challenges and the opportunity?
Thank you so much, Dr. Rosnadia. Thank you, our panelists. Thank you, young minds. Assalamualaikum and very good night to everyone. And be it whether you are in Malaysia, whether you are in Indonesia, or whether in which any continent you are, any country you are. So yeah, thank you so much for being tonight with us and bear with us. And I think it is a good start for us, be in a New Year Eve, be in a New Year mood, right? I'm also in a holiday mood also right now, but hopefully with this gathering of knowledge, so may God grant us a strength, may God grant us resiliency to move forward in year 2021. I'm Dr. Nurul Shuhaida Abdul Razak. I am the psychiatrist from Malaysia. I'm also a vice president of Scopus Malaysia and a fellow in Young Minds. Hello and welcome all of you. So my topic will be the opportunities and the challenges, what we have looked back in 2020 and what should we expect in 2021. Of course, the challenges and the opportunities are our predictions, our way forward for the mental health in 2021. And of course, there's a lot of challenges that we face, and with the challenges comes the opportunities in 2021. However, I'm going to mention only a few here. So what you can see here is the challenges. This is what we actually ongoing. Okay, for Malaysia, so we started our movement control order in March 2020, in which almost all the sectors closed and people has to work from home. So this is another challenges where the remote working will be the norm for the next 2021. So the leadership will need to reimagine a hybrid culture, as many of us will continue to work from home, whether it is part-time or the full-time altogether. Bear in mind, not all home are home, but some people find home is not a home. There's a lot of issues at home also, issues with the childcare, the issues with juggling with the families, juggling with the work from home. It is not easy to be working from home. And again, working when we work at the office, it actually train us to be disciplined, train us about the leadership. But working from home is definitely a different set of expectation. Thus, this is another challenges that we need to face. The second is a devastating impact from the pandemic. So from the resulting lockdown, we can see there's a lot of economic security going down, the fear and uncertainties on the people's mental health. There's a lot of grief, the grief about the death of the loved one due to COVID-19 or any other reasons, the grief due to the financial loss, the grief due to inflation, the grief due to loss of employment. And of course, there's an increase in the substance abuse, domestic violence, and issues with the child mental health issues. Another challenge is the lifestyle changes. We can see from the movement control disorder, right? Pardon me. In Malaysia itself, so we can see, I think Dr. Rosnadia can relate, in which Dr. Rosnadia can relate that during our MCO, which is our movement control order, there's a lot of Facebook. It is like we call it Cendawan Tumbuh, right? So this Cendawan Tumbuh Facebook is a lot of about food, right? The food Facebook. Okay, we can see that there's Facebook on masak apa hari ni and masak apa tak jadi hari ni. People are sharing what they are cooking and people are sharing what they are doing. And there's a limited access to the fitness center. There's a limited access to the Zumba and also gym or aerobic, because we cannot go and have a social gathering together. Thus, our lifestyle is there's a lot of changes. Some says there's increase in the weight gain, and increase in weight gain also have the vicious cycle towards it. You can see that when you have this, you eat more, you have a weight gain. When you have a weight gain, you become stressed and you become fatigued, and because of that, and you can see that your body image is different. You have to buy a new clothes because of that, because of the weight gain, and you are aware that people are talking about you. You are uncomfortable when you are talking about yourself, and you become inferior. And when you become inferior, you might have also the medical illness associated with the weight gain, such as diabetes or hypertension. And you might then later on, you because of you have depressed, because you have this body weight, you took the medications to reduce the weight, and the medication to reduce the weight sometimes contain substance such as methamphetamine, and it can lead you to have a depression furthermore. And when you have depression furthermore, you might go for eating again, and this is the vicious cycle. And another challenge is the health and the wealth inequities, in which the COVID-19 pandemic has drawn attention to the deep disparities that perceive between and within countries. We can see that some countries offer more of health benefit, some health wealth. The country has a lot of wellness that they can offer to the citizens, and some are at stake when the pandemic strikes us. Given the challenges, here comes the opportunities, in which we can see that we are aware more about the mental health, and employer mental health will be a priority. And we can predict that there's a fewer work hours and time off, right? Previously, we work 8 to 5 working hours, as if in Malaysia, working hours. However, we can see that if the opportunities is that they'll become a norm where the people more celebrate time off and resting will become the norm. And we predicted the access to the therapy, medication, and alternative forms of wellness. There'll be emphasis will be on the compassionate leadership, in which people will choose a company that values them, which have the best interest to them in mind. And healthy lifestyle changes, despite we know that the lifestyle changes, people realizes that we need to do something about our healthy lifestyle. There's a lot of advocacy on how to maintain our healthy lifestyle. And Mental Health for All is in conjunction with the World Mental Health Day. The theme is Mental Health for All, greater investment, greater care for everyone and everywhere. The World Health Organization realizes that the critical issues such as income, gender, ethnicity, living in the remote rural areas or disadvantaged urban areas, education, occupation, employment conditions, and disability. And of course, in 2021, we will support effort to expand services for community-based mental health care and to people living in conflict or disaster-affected areas. It's a global. Another opportunities is we realize that during the pandemic, we realize that we have lacking in our data and science. We need to have this health data and information system to report on the progress toward the health-related sustainable development goals. And I'm taking the example from Malaysia itself. Previously, we don't have a very good suicide registry, but we are moving towards a comprehensive suicide registry for Malaysia. And last but not least, we need to act in solidarity, in which the spirit of no one left behind. We need to work together, targeting the youth group, because they are the next pewaris, for Malaysia, the next pewaris of our country. And it is strengthening and expanding the partnership with the civil society and the private sector. I think that's all from me. Back to you, Dr. Rosnadia. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Shu. Indeed, year 2020 brought us challenges that we never expect to experience before, especially on the mental health aspect. There's a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty, but at the same time, don't ever forget about the opportunity and embrace it, okay? So 2021 will bring a great challenges to all of us, especially mental health provider. Okay, so can we move on to round 2? Okay, back to you, Dr. Eka. So as per our team, bringing mental health for all, how do you see or predict on how should we go about, or what should we do so that in year 2021, no one is left behind in assessing mental health care or services? Okay, Dr. Eka.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Rosnadia. And I also listened mainly from Dr. Shu about the condition in Malaysia. And I'm just about to hear the fireworks near me. So I hope this doesn't disturb you guys. This is a New Year's actually. So then about the question from Dr. Rosnadia, how do we have the access about the mental health is for all. Before that, I would like to also emphasize that why mental health is important for us, because as we know that there is no health without mental health, as already Dr. Shu has explained us clearly that this COVID-19 in 2020 really bring awareness to us that burnout is there, and then we need to provide mental health for everyone in everywhere. Then because WHO already also explained that there is no health without mental health, and mental health is not merely the no condition of the mental illness, but health about the mental health is one of the important component in the health as a definition. As one health, we need a social, physical, and mental aspects to be stated as in a health condition, and also from the spiritual itself. And this is, I would like to share some stories from Sydney Waldner from International Bipolar Foundation. At first, she didn't know that she need help from the mental health care provider. But at last, she then go and seeking help because of her depression. And at last, she can say that seeking help to improve my mental health has changed my life for the better. I'm so much happier and healthier now and look forward to living. So Sydney Waldner benefits from mental health treatment. And this is something that real in our daily life, that we need our mental health as important as our physical health. And mental health now is for all. Then how do we provide this mental health is for all? We need to start from ourselves. We cannot change people to then also acknowledge that mental health is important, but we need to, at the very beginning, we need to start from ourselves. So we need to see inside ourselves what we're thinking, what we're feeling, how do we behave, and we need to check into ourselves. As we maybe go for some suffering all this time, first thing, you should know that do not suffer in silence. So everyone that listen to this, every youth, that you are the foundation of our community in the next future, have in mind that you do not have to suffer in silence. So if there's something in your mind, if there's something in your feeling, and you think that there's something wrong with that, you shouldn't suffer in silence. And it's time to speak up. As in 2021 that we are going to about step in, it is time to speak up. Speak from our mind, speak from our heart, what we feel and what we think, what we behave. That's the important thing that we need to speak up. Mental health is no more stigma like it used to be before, but right now, mental health actually for a global mental health is a very fundamental thing, and everyone in this country, from in Malaysia, also in Indonesia, and all around the world, already face the same crisis pandemic of COVID-19. And the same situation makes us realize is that mental health is for all. So the third thing that we need to do is asking for help is also a strength. So sometimes we are afraid to speak about our mind or our feeling because we think that if we show that, it's a weakness. But actually, it is a strength. To showing our vulnerability is one step ahead that we can show to others so that we can get help from others to gain more healthy and better in mental health. And when we already start from ourselves, we are honest to face what we are feeling, what we are thinking, and what is the condition of our mental health, and then we ask for help, it is also important to see our surroundings in our community. We need to care for others by asking, how are you? A simple how are you? Like if you meet one person that you care, checking them up, and then asking them how is their life, how they go through this COVID-19 pandemic, how they get through the quarantine, the isolations, and how they get through to their loss. So care for others by just asking how are you is very important. So once we start with ourselves and we care for others from our surrounding, we need to know that mental health access is now in every country. We can maybe start from visit general practitioners or medical doctors. They at least know how to refer the mental health condition to the more professionals, and they also know how to treat that maybe in some kind of issues or some kind of cases that mild. And we can also go to the hospital. We can get call hotline of mental health services that we know in our countries, and we can go to the mental health community searching in the internet. There's a lot of mental health platforms, including Young Minds. That is a very great mental health platform that Dr. Shu already conduct, and this is that you can get to follow to provide you about the mental health and how to maintain that. And then you can go to the therapists, to the psychologists, and to the psychiatrists. So you can start to gain information about how to access this something that already been providing. And don't forget also, we need to remember pear, that kind of fruit that sweet. And I thought everyone should like pear. So don't forget about this kind of pear fruit, but it's not a fruit. It's an acronym. It stands for promote, educate, advocate, and repeat. So in order to mental health can be provided for all, we need to promote, we need to educate, and we need to advocate. And then we repeat that process again and again through ourselves and also through others in our communities. And whatever you do in your life, just really aware of yourself, just really aware of your surroundings. And you should know that whatever you're feeling, whatever you're thinking, it is valid. And if it's something that make you suffer, that make your quality of life reduce, that make you feel that you cannot contribute to community, that make you feel that you cannot cope with the normal stresses, even the daily activity in life, you cannot do something about that, and you don't know what happened with you, it's time for you to access the mental health services. So that's in order we can get the mental health for all. Thank you, Dr. Nadia. I give it back to you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Eka, for a very wonderful explanation. Okay, mental health care should be made easily accessible. It's a basic right to receive the best care possible as a human. So everyone deserves to have a good mental health, and don't be afraid to seek help, and please check on your loved one. Okay, so back to our panelist number 2. Okay, Dr. Shuhaida, as a Vice President, Scopus Malaysia and Young Minds, what is your opinion with regard to integration of government and non-governmental organization in providing mental health care and better accessibility towards the people? Okay, Dr. Shu.
Thank you, Dr. Rosnadia. So I would like to take this opportunity to discuss on the collaboration between the NGO and the government. I think the NGO and government play an important role in making sure that the mental health is provided for all. and for a better investment, for a better care, everyone and everywhere, and in a spirit of no one left behind. So this collaboration is very much in need, especially in a year of 2021, where there's a lot of challenges, there's a lot of opportunities, and we need to work hand in hand together. So I would like to take this opportunity to discuss on the NGO. So the NGO is like, it is a non-governmental organization which is a formally organized, is a private and formally organized and private. And usually this NGO mostly differ from the public organization in their vision and missions, in which the aims and the objectives, in their management, whether they're professional staff, board members, and the volunteers, their resources, in which it mostly use the fundraising to reach the public relations, raising awareness in communities and cooperation, and also the treatment outcome. And what do NGOs do? How these NGOs can collaborate with the government, in which the NGOs act to bridging the gap. Of course, we acknowledge that there's a lot of what the government has done, but by adding more people, we can say that the more the merrier, so we can bridge the gap in which the area that we cannot do all alone. And NGOs also create a low-cost, replicable models of care, and it helps a lot in influencing the officials' policy. This is the roles of NGO, in which how we can integrate with the government, in which the NGOs provide the service role, in which it provides the high quality, the increased fairness, low cost, and improved efficiency and specializations. NGOs also act in innovation roles, in which it increase the flexibility, increase the accessibility to everyone, and the incubator for the new ideas, the source of innovation in resolving social and individuals' problems. There's also for advocacy roles. It helps in influencing changes in government policies and social conditions, advocacy of the policies and inclusion of the service users. It also plays a role in expressive and development role, in which is promotion of cooperation, voluntary work, advocates, and protecting the interests of the various groups, also enabling the expression of personal potential. And lastly, the roles of NGO, it helps with the democracy building role to provide the diversity and pluralism, the promotion of the mutual trust, belonging, and social obligations. And I would like to take this opportunity. Scopus Malaysia is the non-governmental organization, and also the Young Minds is our social enterprise. And we are comprised of the mental health professionals. And our portfolios is to improve and uphold the mental health in people, the citizens all over the world. And Young Minds are situated in 13 countries, in which all over the world, we are situated in the 13 countries, and all of us are the mental health professionals. We work together, we share ideas how to improve the knowledge and how to improve our mental health. So I think that's all for now. Back to you, Dr. Rosnadia.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Shuhaida. Okay, so the collaboration between government and non-government organization is very important to cover each and everyone in the community and all aspects of mental health care. So NGOs not only bridging the gap policy, and also they actually create a low-cost model of mental health care. So for those who are just joining us, welcome. We just finished our second round of forum today discussing about mental health for all, a way ahead. So together with us today are Dr. Eka from Indonesia and Dr. Shahida from Malaysia, or both are psychiatrists. Okay, so now we enter our third round. So back to you, Dr. Eka. Since 2020 is a virus version and 2021 is still uncertain despite the vaccine has been found. So how do we manage our anxiety and expectation of moving forward to a new year? Okay, Dr. Eka.
Thank you, Dr. Rosnadia. About how to cope with our anxiety and getting into 2021, we know that 2020 has a lot to do with coronaviruses. And in 2021, there already a hope that the vaccine is there already. And how about that? And why are we still anxious about that? And sometimes facing the uncertainty is make us anxious about that. So how to cope actually with the uncertainty? As we know that uncertainty is something certain. So uncertainty is inevitable and change is an absolute truth. We know that in 2020 we have suffered from a lot of things. We can see the dynamics of the changes around the world, and this is not only a little change, but this is a very big change that impact every aspect in our life. So we need a coping skill to maintain our mental health. And one coping skill that is very beneficial that we can apply and very simple to be applied like in today is to be mindful. So being mindful means that we gather our attention and our awareness to the present moment without judgment, and we try to accept things as it is. And it can decrease stress, anxiety, also depression. Sometimes we feel stress because of the uncertainty of our future, and we feel anxiety because of overthinking of our future. What will happen next? Will this coronavirus end in 2021 by vaccine? And what about if it lasts for long? And what about my condition? What about my economical thing, my financial issues, my health condition? So anxiety comes from thinking of the futures, and it makes us feel more anxious if our mind still in the future. So we need to get back our mind to the present moment. We need to be mindful about our present moment. And then sometimes what already happened in 2020, maybe we suffer from our loss from our family. We get into a bereavement, and maybe there's planning that didn't work, that we already worked because of the coronavirus, or there was one condition that make us lost our job. We cannot work as what we plan as we want to. And by thinking of the past, about what already left, about what we cannot achieve in 2020 because of the coronavirus, will make us feeling depressed. And if we still staying in the past moment, we will feel this kind of depression, and it's hard for us to push away this feeling, this mood. So one thing that we should do is get back our attention to the present moment. So how do we do this? It's just by noticing. So we notice what in our now. We are here and we are now. Our body is here, and we make sure that our attention, our mind, our feeling is also being here. So we notice things as the way it is. If we think about the future and our anxious minds comes to our mind, our head, we try to notice it. If we are feeling sad, we notice it. So by being honest about what we are noticing about ourselves or our surroundings. And when we notice that, we try to accept it. All right, I'm not feeling good. All right, I feel sad about what already lost in 2020. All right, I feel quite anxious about being vaccinated, or I'm anxious about my financial stability in 2021. What will happen? Will I pursue my dreams and etc.? So just try to accept that as the way it is. And then once we accept that, maybe at the first time, it's hard for us to accept it. From scale 1 to 10, our denied, our rejection, maybe at the scale 10, we cannot accept that. But after sometimes when we still focus our thinking in the present moment, we can see that the scale then decrease. The scale of our rejection then decrease to maybe 5, to maybe 4, 3, and then 1, and then we can accept that. And then just see that it will be dismissed from our thought, because our thought is very temporary, and we just kind of like observe and enjoy present moment and moment by moment. So noticing, accepting, and then dismissing. So let it go, that kind of feeling after we accept that. And after dismiss that, we return it back to our present moment. So we return it back, and then we repeat that again. Once there is thinking from the future, or there's thinking from the past, it's okay. Just noticing, accepting, dismissing, returning back to the present moment, and then repeat that again. So this cycle can help us then to make our mind conscious and aware of what we can do and what is the most important thing that we can do. And one is the very benefit things that we can also use by using anchor, our breathing as an anchor. So just try to noticing our breath, like as we breathe, as we inhale, and then as we breathe out, we exhale. Just noticing that. By noticing our breath, we will be in the present moment. It will help us to be in the present moment. And by being mindful, we will very easy to then notice, to then see things that these things I cannot control and this thing I can control. And we can see from at this left side, and we can see that there's something that we can control and outside my control. For example, in this coronavirus thing, things that I can control is my behavior, hand washing, wearing face mask, social distancing, my routine, exercise, my kindness, and turning off the news if I might be feel overwhelmed, asking for help if like my thinking or my feeling is very overwhelming for me, and eating healthy is something that we can control. So be mindful in the present moment and doing things that we can control, and things that outside our control, for example, the economy, the news report, other people behavior, how long COVID lasts, other people's reaction, vaccine, and something that out of our control, it's not ours to think. So we can try to just notice that kind of feeling about things that maybe outside of our control, and we accept that feeling, and then we dismiss that and just return our focus back to the things that we can control. And by doing this regularly in our daily life, it will reduce our anxiety. So this is very important that we live in the present moment. So thank you, Dr. Rosnadia. I will give it back to you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Eka. Indeed, year 2020 put all of us in a lot of uncertainties, a lot of anxieties. So even today in Malaysia, the number of cases is 2,000 plus. It is still a lot. Thus, it is very important for us to know how to manage or handle our anxieties. So as described by Dr. Eka, using mindfulness techniques. So we need to be aware of the present moment. We have to accept our thought and then dismissing it and move on to the present moment, and you have to couple it with breathing exercise, right? So and then okay, back to our second panelist, Dr. Shuhaida. So sometimes we realize that our New Year resolution is just a resolution that we could not achieve at all. So some go through a smooth year, some having a lot of difficulties in 2020. So we have to forgive and forget ourselves and move forward toward a healthier us. So can you tell us how do we improve our relationship with ourselves in 2021? Dr. Shu?
Thank you, Dr. Nadia. I love this topic. I, I love this topic very much, and yeah, improving relationship with ourselves in 2021. My New Year resolution actually is to accomplish what I haven't done in 2020, in which what I stated in 2019, and in 2019 which I haven't accomplished in 2018 and 2017. So basically, I carry forward my New Year resolution. Is it fair like that, Dr. Nadia? So
Okay, can.
we have go strong together. We have hand in hand, going stronger together in year 2020. I would like to I would like to take this opportunity to attribute our special thanks to our frontliner. It is not easy to be the frontliner, to be the one who is taking care of the people with COVID-19, who are also doing the screening. It is not easy to wear the personal protective equipment. And me personally, I do wore the PPE, the personal protective equipment, and it is very not comfortable. It is very hot, and you can have dry skin after that. But this is the sacrifices, and this is the things that our frontliners do. And now we all are the frontliners. In 2021, we are all the frontliners. So how do we improve our relationships with the past? So before that, I think this 2020, it is because we are so busy with the COVID-19. A lot of us working in the hospital sometimes have no time to take leave. I mean, the holiday is also very limited to us because of so many things to be done. For the psychiatry, we are involved in mental health and psychological support systems. Mental health and psychological support services. So I got the opportunity to take the holiday, end of the year, New Year's Eve. So I said to my boss, don't disturb me, boss. I'm taking holiday until next year. And my boss said, it's okay, Shu. I'm working until next year. So whatever it is, all right, whatever it is, it's a shared decision. So we need to work together with our colleague. So how to improve the relationship with ourselves? First is we need to have our self-love habit. The self-love means that you love yourself, believing that you are enough, you have done enough. Even though what you are doing for the past in 2020 is just to surviving yourself, even though what you have done in 2020 only to live on a daily basis, again, always remind yourself that you are enough. Love yourself, because your greatest responsibility is to love yourself and to know that you are enough. Managing your own expectation. Don't put yourself too highly expected. You have to provide. You are a super mom. You are a super worker. You are a super employee and employer, because this will affect your self-love. Have a self-compassion of yourself. Managing your own expectation, and always remember that you are enough. Second thing, I think because social media is so rampant, and I think we cannot live right now our social media. Even to go online right now, also we use our social media. Of course, undeniably, social media has bring a lot of information, has bring a lot of goodness in our life. However, there's also increased the cases rise due to the social media. I have quite a number of patients who came to us because of their depressed, because of the status from the social media. The sister-in-law put up the status in Twitter, the mother-in-law put up the status in Facebook, and our student are stressed because the friend put up a lot of good branded things in the TikTok, and this make them depressed because comparing themselves to other people, so make them feel anxious and depressed. So why not we have a time for us, time for ourselves to turn off our social media and distract ourselves from time to time so that we can sit, we can talk, and we can enjoy the company of our loved ones. And practice forgiveness. Whatever you have done in 2020, it's all in the past. Whatever that happened in your life is all in the past. Try to forgive yourself, because by forgiving, you are not by forgiving actually you are not giving a chance to the perpetrator. You are not giving a chance to those who harm you, to those who pain you. However, by practice forgiveness, you are giving a chance for you to live. And remember, forgive others, and don't forget to forgive yourself. I have a patient who have depression, and he's been under the follow-up for quite some time. He said that he tried to forgive everyone. He tried to do that, but he's still not out of the depression. Until one time when we have the therapy sessions, so I said, have you forgive yourself? And he cried. He cried badly because he said, I tried to forgive other people, but I didn't forgive myself. By forgiving yourself, it is another way to release and to let go things that haunt you. And remember, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. Well, I think Dr. Eka has mentioned quite a very interesting explanation on mindfulness. So, whether we are mindful or we are mindful, we are present in the moment. However, our mind is not present. Our mind full of work, our mind full of things, our mind full of problems, our mind full of so many things that we also don't know what it is. But being mindful is to enjoy the present moment in which it is undistracted and focused. We are aware in a clear awakening. We have a kindness to yourself, to non-judgment and accepting yourself. And also we feel relaxed. And this is the fourth quality of mindfulness. And mindfulness is a very good thing for you to be in touch of the ground, for you to be taking care and be control of yourself. Remember, when there's a lot of things that disturb you, there's a lot of problem, don't forget to write it out. A lot of my patients says that they have so many things in their mind and they cannot sleep. They become anxious. They cannot sleep because they think that so many things will never settle, and this disturbs their sleep. So I say to them, write it out. Write what comes to your mind. Write all your problem, because when you write it down, you are able to see, and after you are able to see what is your problem, write it down what is your solutions next to your problem. Because at any point of time, you know the solution is already there. You know there's no one can make decision for you. You are the one that have to make the decision for you. So you have to write down what is your problem and what is the decision that you can make, and what is the advantage and disadvantages of each of your decision. And when you write it down, you are able to see what you have done. And when you feel anxious because of so many things, revisit the paper that you wrote, because you know the answer is there. You have already have the answer for that. It's just a matter of choosing the right decision for yourself. And again, remember, there's no right or wrong decision. We make decision based on the circumstances, based on what we have felt on that day, based on what the situation is. So don't feel bad for any decision, because there's no right or wrong decision, because the decision has to be made after all. And mind over matters. I think Dr. Eka also explained very much and very comprehensive about choose what you can control. Of course, there's a lot of things that we cannot control, but there's also a lot of things that we can control. And happiness is what we can control. Our life, our thinking, how our emotion is the one that we can control. Remember that happiness is a choice. It is not a result. And nothing will make you happy until you choose to be happy. There's no person will make you happy unless you decide to be happy. Your happiness will not come to you. It can only come from you. Again, we feel anxious because we are not sure. We feel anxious because we are out of routine. By maintaining the routine and the consistency, it will help a lot in managing our 2021, and it will help a lot in harmonization of yourself and uh, and 2021, and to improve the relationship of yourself with the situations. Remember, the routine equals to consistency, and the consistency equals to results. Don't forget the spirituality. We can never run away from the spirituality. And remember, spirituality is different from religion. In spirituality is where do we find our meaning, how do we feel connected, and how should we live. And religion is what we practice, and whether it is right or wrong, and true or false. And we need both religion and spirituality. As for belief, it is bring comfort, it's bring us reflections, it's bring and guide us about the ethics and our honors. And I think that's all from me. Remember, I like, do you have all of you seen the Kung Fu Panda? I'm not remember Kung Fu Panda. I think there's the three movies on Kung Fu Panda, but I think this is the second one. Which the second one, it is where the Kung Fu Panda fought with this Shang. Shang is the peacock who actually killed the parents of Kung Fu Panda, and this Kung Fu Panda has been haunting by his dream about how the parents died before. But at the end of the day, when they fought, and the Shang is almost I mean the Kung Fu Panda is at victory. The Shang asks, "How do you find inner peace? How do you feel calm? I have wounded you. I have wounded you whole of your life. I have killed your parent." And what Kung Fu Panda said, wound healed. Even though the scars is there, but the wound healed. And what he said that the present moment, it is what happened in the past, it is not important. What is important is the present moment, and how do you view your future. So I think that's all from me for now. So back to you, Dr. Rosnadia.
Thank you, Dr. Shu. Okay, so basically loving and valuing ourselves are very important to promote a good mental health and elevate sense of well-being to facilitate our growth, our health, and even development, and also our relationship with other people. Okay, so basically we are already finished with 3 rounds with our panelists. Now I will open the floor for questions from our viewers. So let me see in our chat box here. So first question, we have this one from Mr. Shahril Nizam. So he asks, how can I, as the person who does not have a valid qualification as a psychiatrist, to help my friends and sometimes myself to overcome mental health issues? So I think I give this question to our panelist number 1, Dr. Eka.
Thank you, Dr. Rosnadia. So the question from Mr. Sahril, the first one that very important is never doing any self-diagnosis. So whenever that you see that yourself maybe needs help, and then your friend maybe needs help, and something that they're undergoing, like their feeling or their thoughts, is not something that is usual, and it can makes their quality of life decrease and their capacity to contribute to the community decrease, and they feel suffer about this, they're not healthy about this, it's time to seek for the mental health professional, to the psychologist or a psychiatrist. So in what extent we can help our friends is to give them support, And this kind of support is that we are there for them, and we try to be just there for them. We try to listen what they're trying to talk. So we are being an active listener. And after that, if we see that the problems be very big and we cannot just it cannot resolve only by talking, we need to seek for the mental health professionals. So don't diagnose like I have a sadness, I have like maybe I don't quite well, maybe I'm in a depression and I'm in this stage. So never do a self-diagnosis, better give it to a qualified psychiatrist or psychologist. So maybe there's an addition from Dr. Shu, but I will give it back again to Dr. Rosdiana.
Okay. Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Eka. I hope that answer your question, Mr. Shahril. So now we have another one, a question from Encik Faris Azmi. So how do I talk to my children about the coronavirus without making them anxious? So maybe Dr. Shu can answer this question.
Thank you, Mr. Faris. So how do we talk to our children about the coronavirus? Of course, it's very difficult to explain about the coronavirus because we cannot see the coronavirus. Things that we cannot see is very difficult to make other people understand. However, children learn by behavior. Children learn by looking how the adults doing things. So before talking is one more thing, but leading by example is another thing. So I think the parent, what we can do is that to show the good habit on how to care for the coronavirus and how do we control ourselves about the coronavirus itself. For example, by following the standard operating procedures, such as hand washing, using the sanitizer, and social distancing. And also, whenever the anxiety about the coronavirus came in, so we do write it out and we talk about it and we take a deep breath and we try to show that we are calm to go through this together. And of course, there's also brochures and made by Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia, and this is for Malaysia. I'm not sure about Indonesia. I think there's available in all the continents all around the world. But this brochure and videos are made for the children, especially on how to understand the coronavirus in a nutshell and in a very simple word. We can also explain to the children about the coronavirus by using the simple words. For example, we cannot see the air, but we can feel this. So this is how the things that how we can relate. We cannot see the coronavirus, but it's there because this virus is so small, and that is important to take care of the hygiene. To conclusion, lead by example, and also we can use a few other methods to explain to them, such as brochures and all. Thank you, Dr. Rosnadia.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Shu. Okay, now we have another question from Mr. Hafizul. So he was asking about for a proper mental rest, how many hours recommended for a person to have a rest per day? So maybe Dr. Eka can answer this question from Mr. Hafizul.
Thank you, Dr. Rosdiana. So for Mr. Hafizul, the recommendation for sleep hours that we can take rest by one day is 8 hours. So it really depends. It can 6 to 8 hours, but 8 hours is the optimum for our mental to get some rest, and then it can make our brain waves at the, if we awake like conscious right now, we use beta waves in our brain, and then when we go to the sleep, we will go to the alpha waves and then theta wave and then delta wave. And at the delta wave, and we will reach the REM phase and non-REM phase, and at that phase our brain will restore the memory and our mental health will then get its rest. by the time. So make sure that we have a proper mental rest, because it is very important. So, and actually when we are taking a nap is also necessary, especially if we're working from home, because when we see the screen for about 1 hour or 2 hours, it's draining our mental energy. So it's very important for us, when it is inevitable to rest, or we need to see the screen for a long time, we just try to look at the outside, or we try to move our body, and we try just to maybe close our eyes for a moment, so we don't really occupy our mental with the screen. So it's a simple rest that we can apply in our daily, Zoom, like Zoom meeting, like in our everyday life. Thank you, Dr. Rosnadia.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Eka. I hope that answer Mr. Hafizul questions. So now we have another one. So there's a lot of question actually, but there's this one question from Mr. Faisal. He was asking about feeling bad, not being able to help the family in this difficult time, because he's staying afar from them. So he feel anxious and scared. So any advice about this? Dr. Shu, maybe you can answer this question.
Hello, Mr. Faisal. I think this goes back to what we can control and minds over matter. Of course, we feel very scared. I can imagine how you feel, and because this is most of the people undergoing this stress together right now. Quite a number of patients came to see us because they feel stressed for not being able to help the family, especially when the family is in a different continent or in the different region. However, again, mind over matter. Choose what you can control. For example, the things that you need to write it out. I always say that please write it out. The things that you can control. For example, you cannot control where your home is, which is very far from the other family members. You cannot control about the COVID situation. You cannot control about how this COVID spread and how fast it spread, and how the decision from the government about the movement control orders, or whatever things that we cannot control. The decision to close our borders also is the thing that we cannot control. But what we can control is to control our mind, to control our emotion, to stay calm. And now with the advancements of the social media, so we can connect with them with the social media. We can connect with them through phones, and we can always call them to ask them how are you doing. And of course, I believe the family members also understand about the current situation, and what we can also use like courier. If we want to send them something, we want to send them present to, and we can make them happy from the other side. We can always use the courier, and or like right now there's a lot of things that we can do. And also we can call them, we can talk to them every day. Remember that social distancing does not equate to social withdrawing. And while you have to be social distancing from other people, you can always be together with the family members. The Skype, the Zoom is also, the Google Meet is also another platform, so that you can see each other, you can keep in touch with others. And again, managing your emotion, how you feel about that. I know I cannot control the situation, but I know this thing will last, because there's nothing, the problem will not last forever. The problem is created by God to last for a certain time. Remember, have faith, have a spirituality, have a spiritual and a religious belief on this. Right? Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Dr. Shu. We've got another question from Mr. Shahri Nizam. He was asking about any simple method or therapy to reduce stress at home because working from home. So Dr. Eka, can you answer this question?
Thank you, Dr. Nadia. So for Mr. Sahril, a simple method, as what already been explained before from my slide and from Dr. Shu, it is very important to practice mindfulness in our daily life. So just sit for a moment and bring our attention to our breath. And whenever we feel anxious, just come back to our breath. As we breathing in and out, we just gather our attention back to the present moment. And after we feel calmer, we ask for ourselves what is the most important thing in our control that we can do. And then the second thing that you can do relaxation. So whatever you comfort with. For example, if you comfort by listening to the music or reading books or any kind of hobbies that you like to do in your daily life, just do that to get a relaxation. So relaxation will bring more calm sensation in our body, so we don't feel really tense about thinking about the COVID-19 and every aspects about the COVID-19. So relaxation needs to calm our sympathetic nervous, like our nervous that makes us tense, makes us anxious. Once we do it routine, we can gain the benefits of it. As in our biological mind, we will have more calmer because we try to produce more relaxed mind. And then the third one, we can try to not overwhelming by our work by making schedule. So sometimes when we work from home, we have no schedule. I mean, like, we sometimes do things scattered. We seeing kids, and then we do parenting, when we do working. Also, we try to do every activity in one big schedules, and that is not it will not work. So make a schedule, make a routine, and stick to that kind of schedule or routine that we already set. So by having a routine, we will break our work in more simple tasks. And by doing one task at one time, we will have the more like the sense of I have already completed this task. So our reward system is activated, and it will boost our mood to then and can reduce our stress during our working from home. And so that's the thing that we can do. Thank you, Dr. Rosnadia. I will give it back to you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Eka. I think I'll take one last question from our viewers. Okay, this one is from Mr. Shukri. He is asking about, is there any collaborations made between Malaysia and Indonesia in regards to overcome the mental health issue during this pandemic? So Dr. Shu, maybe this question for you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shukri Kamal. Of course, Indonesia is part of our family, and there's a lot of collaboration that we have already, I mean, Malaysia and Indonesia. And one of it is Asian Mental Health System Collaborative Research. We also have a lot of collaboration between the universities from Malaysia and also Indonesia. And not to forget, there's in our economic partnership agreement also talking about how do we improve the mental health between the Malaysia and Indonesia. The recent APEC, which is the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation that was just held in November, also talk about how to uphold the mental health, and this also involving the Malaysia and Indonesia. And there's a lot more collaboration, and one of it also, and this is what we can see right now, which is the collaboration of the young minds, in which the young minds connected Malaysia, Indonesia, and also other regions, and we are together in this webinar tonight to bring you this New Year Eve about mental health. So I think I answer you, and of course there's a lot of collaboration to be done me and Dr. Eka, there's a lot of other things to be done also. Of course, 2021 hopefully will bring us more success, will bring us more collaboration. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much to our panelists for answering the questions tonight from our viewers. So time flies, we are getting close to our time together. Okay, so thank you to our panelists for being with us today, sharing an insightful opinion and expertise on today's topic. So I know that it is hard for all of us, yeah, this year and even 2021 for us to thrive economically, socially, and even our health, be it physical and mental. So, but I believe that all of us would be able to embrace the challenges and move forward together. And hopefully, mental health literacy in our societies improve, and can be made easily accessible for all, regardless where they come from and what their social status are. So, I think that's all for our forum for tonight. So, thank you for listening to us. Okay, a bit of promotion of our programs for next year before we end our forum. Okay, so for next year, Scopus has, inshallah, will start an online talk show called Tech Talk. Okay, TAGG. Together achieve great mind and great health. So it is basically an online sharing session. It will be done twice per month on Wednesday night from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. So it will be broadcasted through the YouTube, and also those who miss it can always listen through podcast. So the topic that we will cover include mental health, financial management, and others interesting topic. So a lot of great speakers with different expertise will be invited to share their wisdom and knowledge. And don't forget to come and join us. So Dr. Shu, do you have something also to promote?
Yes. I also wanted to promote about this our movement, our young minds, and because we have been saying about Scopus, about young minds. So what is Scopus and young minds? Scopus, this is the visions of Scopus. We want to break the stigma among youth so that those who suffer can ask for help without fear of community evaluation. And our mission is to help young people with symptoms of all disorders to get the help that they deserve. And this is our Young Minds Fellow. We consist of mental health professionals. Some of them are psychiatrists. Some of them are psychologists. We have the occupational therapists. We do have the organization psychologists also. We have a pharmacist also inside here. And Prof. Datin, Dr. Shamsubadria is our advisor. Dr. Rosina is from Canada. Dr. Nurul Shwaida, I am the one talking to you. Okay, and Mr. Lee is our registered counselor. And Daila is also from other continent. Dr. Diana is from Puerto Rico. Dr. Marian is from Germany. And Prof. Mazdan is from the Art Therapists Association. Hannah is from British Art Association. And this is our locations for the Young Minds. And what we do is we do coaching, we do advocates, and also we do conference. And we provide creative solutions for all your needs. Our social enterprise is leading the fight for a future where all young minds are supported and empowered, whatever the challenge. So I think that's all from me. Thank you so much for your all kind of attention. We have very near to our future for our 2021. I think about 2 hours and 10 minutes. So I wish all of you a very good 2021 years ahead. Have a good holiday. Have compassion to yourself. Thank you for listening. And I sorry for anything mistake or whatever I'm doing tonight. So wish all of you good luck and take care and goodbye. Back to you, Dr. Nadia.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Shuhaida. So, Dr. Eka, maybe you have a last few words that you want to share with our audience tonight, Dr. Eka?
Yes. So, for my last, maybe I would like to share one of slide here. You for everyone that listen to our forum tonight, you should know that it is okay to not be okay. So it's time for us to know that our mental health is matter. And as we know that as we already experienced 2020 and then we finally come to the 2021, we need to find meaning and purpose in our life, like what we are going to do ahead and what we are going to conduct ahead, what is important in our life. And don't forget to keep connected with others, because be connected with others is one of the fundamental needs of us for as a human being. So keep connected with others to gain supports. At last, also, as already Dr. Shu mentions about spirituality, we need to have faith about these current situations and also hope. As we have faith and we have hope, I'm sure that we can continue to the more optimist 2021, and we should face 2021 with more energy, with more courage, and with more resilience than before. And just if today all you did was hold yourself together, I'm already proud of you. So thank you very much for this chance that having collaboration with young minds, and very I'm very proud of Young Mind and how psychiatrists from Malaysia, Dr. Shuhada and Dr. Rosnadia, also Mr. Nasrul Azizi, a psychologist, conduct this platform and doing things for a very good intention and for better mental health for everyone, not only in Malaysia, but through all nations and through all countries. I'm hoping a big success in 2021 for all and for us. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Eka and also Dr. Shuhaida. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us tonight. So I hope you enjoy the forum. Have a happy new year and stay safe, everyone. So bye-bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.